Around 2 in the afternoon, something quietly takes over. Your eyes get heavy, your thoughts slow down, and you settle into the chair telling yourself this is just what getting older feels like. But what if that crash isn't aging at all? What if it's a signal, specific, measurable, and pointing directly at something you can change? Here's what makes this worth paying attention to. The afternoon slump is so common in adults over 60 that most doctors barely mention it, and most people never ask about it. It gets folded into the general background noise of getting older. But researchers who study circadian biology and metabolic health have been looking much more closely exactly when fatigue hits, how deep it goes, and what it reveals about what's happening inside the body between meals. Your body runs on a roughly 24-hour internal clock, and built into that clock is a natural dip in alertness in the early afternoon, somewhere between 1 and 3 p.m. This happens to nearly everyone, including young adults. It's sometimes called the post-lunch dip. And in many cultures around the world, it's simply accommodated with a short rest. So to be clear, some afternoon softness is completely normal human biology. But there's a difference between a gentle dip and a crash. A gentle dip is a slight easing of energy that passes on its own within 20 or 30 minutes. A crash is something heavier. You feel almost compelled to sleep, your concentration falls apart, you might feel irritable or foggy, and it takes an hour or more to feel functional again. That distinction matters enormously. The crash is the signal, the gentle dip is just biology. So what is the crash actually signaling? Researchers point to several converging factors, and blood sugar regulation sits near the top of the list. After 60, the body's ability to manage the rise and fall of glucose after a meal becomes less efficient. The pancreas responds more slowly, insulin sensitivity changes, and the result is that blood sugar can spike higher and then fall faster than it did at 40. That rapid fall, not the high, but the drop, is what many people experience as a crash. And this isn't just about feeling tired. Studies tracking blood sugar patterns in older adults have found that large post-meal glucose swings are associated with increased inflammation, poorer cognitive performance later in the day, disrupted nighttime sleep, and over time, higher risk for metabolic problems. The 2 p.m. crash isn't just inconvenient, it's your body running a report on how well your metabolism handled the last meal, and sometimes the report isn't great. There's a second signal the crash may be carrying, and this one surprises people. Dehydration. By early afternoon, many older adults are mildly but meaningfully dehydrated, and the sensation of thirst becomes less reliable with age. The mechanism that tells you to drink water actually blunts over time. Mild dehydration at just 1 or 2% of body weight has been shown in research to impair concentration, lower mood, and increase fatigue in ways that feel almost identical to the post-lunch blood sugar crash. A third factor is one most people overlook entirely: the composition of the midday meal itself. A lunch that's heavy in refined carbohydrates, white bread, white rice, pasta, crackers, sweetened drinks, tends to produce exactly the blood sugar arc that drives the crash. A lunch that pairs protein, healthy fat, and fiber with those carbohydrates slows absorption significantly and flattens that curve. The same calories arranged differently on the plate can produce completely different energy for the next 3 hours. There's also something happening with sleep that deserves mention here. Researchers have consistently found that when nighttime sleep is fragmented or cut short, which becomes more common after 60 for a variety of reasons, the afternoon dip becomes much more pronounced the following day. Poor sleep amplifies the crash. So if the 2 p.m. wall has gotten worse over the past year or two, it's worth asking honestly, how is the sleep actually going? Because these two things are often connected in a loop that feeds itself. Now here's the piece that genuinely changes things. There's a specific window, roughly 10 to 20 minutes of light movement after a meal, that research suggests can meaningfully blunt the post-meal blood sugar spike. Not a gym session, not a long walk necessarily. Just moving, a gentle walk around the block, some slow movement around the house, even light gardening. The muscles, when active, begin absorbing glucose from the bloodstream without needing insulin to do it. The spike flattens, the crash that follows has less far to fall. Several large studies have looked at what happens when older adults adopt the habit of a short walk after lunch specifically. The findings are consistent enough that some researchers are now calling it one of the most accessible and underused tools for metabolic health in this age group. 10 minutes, done regularly. The afternoon energy profile shifts noticeably within a few weeks for many people, not because anything dramatic changed, but because the blood sugar curve changed. There are a few other evidence-supported adjustments worth knowing about. Drinking a full glass of water with or just before lunch addresses the dehydration piece directly. Shifting a larger portion of the day's protein to the midday meal rather than saving it for dinner has been shown to support steadier afternoon energy. And keeping lunch portions moderate, not skimping but not overeating, matters because a very large meal of any composition asks more of the digestive system and tends to pull blood flow and energy inward. One thing worth saying plainly, if your afternoon crash is severe, arrives with other symptoms like heart pounding, shakiness, sweating, or significant brain fog, or has gotten noticeably worse over a short period of time, that's worth a conversation with your doctor. There are medical conditions, including sleep apnea and blood sugar regulation issues, that can wear the costume of ordinary tiredness and deserve proper attention. The advice here is about the common garden variety slump. Only your doctor can rule out the less common causes. But for the majority of people experiencing that familiar 2 p.m. heaviness, the one they've quietly accepted as the new normal, the evidence suggests it doesn't have to be. The body after 60 is more responsive to small, consistent changes than most people expect. It's not looking for a dramatic overhaul. It's asking, through that crash, for a few things: a bit of water, a lunch with more balance, and 10 minutes on your feet afterward. That's a remarkably small ask for what it's willing to give back. The afternoon slump after 60 is real, but it's not a verdict, it's information. And information, once you know how to read it, becomes something you can actually use. Most of the levers that flatten the crash are already in your hands. They live in the kitchen, in your water glass, in the 10 minutes after you push back from the table. That's where the change happens. Not in a supplement aisle, right there, in the ordinary rhythm of a Tuesday afternoon.